to do in your life. Because what I did promise I was going to talk about this evening, that was only supposed to be for 2 minutes, was about the uncertainties and the chaos of life. A new year is going to be starting soon. What's it going to be like for you? And do you need some encouragement, protection to make sure that next year is a really good year for you? What should you do? And some people, instead of actually relishing and celebrating uncertainty, we always want to try and beat the odds to fix the system in our favor. So first of all, some of you may be looking at horoscopes for the future. And I never believe in horoscopes or astrology. The thing which stopped me believing in astrology and horoscopes was quite a few years ago. There's one of our Malaysian, Australian members who wanted to give me something for my birthday. What do you give a monk for their birthday? It's almost impossible to find something for them. Don't think I'll get you some tea bags. I've got so many tea bags. What else does a monk like? Nothing much. So anyway, this guy was very innovative. So he found out, he knew my birthday and the year of my birth. He found out the time of my birth, roughly. I think he asked it and I was just, didn't really think much of it. But then when it was my birthday, he said, Ajahn Brahm, for your birthday present, I have commissioned your horoscope from a very well-known astrologer. Cost me a lot of money, but that's worth it to present this to you for your birthday present. And he read it out in public. He said, Ajahn Brahm, for anyone who's born, for the person who's born on the 7th of August 1951, about that time, that because of the alignment of the planets and the stars and other stuff, that this year, the astrologer predicted, for me would be a very, very good year for romance. That's what my horoscope said. It never worked. I'm still a monk. And that's when I lost my faith in horoscopes and astrology. But that's people crave for certainty when there's a bit of chaos in this world. Or just like that story of Ajahn Chah, when they said, you're a monk, I'm sure that you can predict the future. Come on, predict the future. And so this man came up to him and said, read the lines on the palm of my hand, he said. And I said, we don't do that. That's not the sort of stuff which, great monks or teachers or nuns do. We actually teach the Dharma. And just said, you mean you won't do it? And I just said, no. And then the person was prepared. He was very sneaky. And he said, he tried to outwit Ajahn Chah. Don't ever try and do that. But he tried. He said, you remember the last sermon you gave on gratitude? Now, I have been giving donations to this temple for such a long time. I bring food to the temple. I serve on the committee. I look after, come on, busy bees. I help out, erect the tents on, what time is it? Saturday. Saturday at 7 o'clock. I do all this work for you. And this is the first time I've ever asked anything from you, Ajahn Chah. And you say no? What type of gratitude is that? He put him on the spot. So Ajahn Chah, you've got a point there, gratitude, you were really generous, so I suppose I should help you back, give me your hand. So Ajahn Chah, the one and only time, he read the lines on the person's palm to predict his future. And he said, because I'm a monk and I keep my precepts, what I tell you will be the truth. He said, yeah, I know. That's why I asked you. So Ajahn Chah, are you ready for this? He said, yes. Are you sure? Yes. So he started tracing the lines on his palm very slowly. And every now and again he would stop and he'd look. And sometimes he would smile. Sometimes he'd shake his head. This poor man was getting so excited and afraid at the same time. This was his future being read, and it would be absolutely true, whatever Ajahn Chah said. No matter what came out, he knew he could trust this monk. And it took forever to finish reading the palms on this man's hand. And as soon as Ajahn Chah was finished, yes, what's my future going to be? Yes, please tell me. I've just read, I know you just read the poem. What I say is going to be absolutely true. Yeah, I know that. What it's going to be. He was so excited. Oh, he's so excited. But Ajahn Chah was very calm. And it seemed that it was forever before he would get the prediction for his future. And eventually, Ajahn Chah said, your future, say, yes. Your future, yes, is going to be, yes, uncertain. And Ajahn Chah wasn't wrong. Because the future is not set in stone. We make the future. Your future is work in progress. You can interfere with, it's not really destiny. If it was destiny, you couldn't interfere with it. You can tweak it this way, you can move it this way. The future is open to you. That's what the law of karma means. The karma you're doing in the present moment is more important than the karma you've done in the past. It's what you make out of what you've got. You can change everything. It's so easy if you realize it can be done. To give you an example, I told this story again last night, but it's amazing. That's in Singapore. This was one of the stories in the Good, Bad, Who Knows book. But they obviously hadn't brought it because they all laughed when they got the final. And it's actually quite an important, deep story on I may not tell you yet until I finish the story, but it was this monastery in the north of India about this time of the year. Actually, probably about in November time. And the old abbot, had passed away. And they had a new abbot. The old abbot was, where's the committee gone? Was working too hard and got worn out and faded away. So they had to elect this new abbot. And the new abbot, if you weren't like a head monk, you're supposed to be wise and a good meditator and a good leader, but you're also supposed to have a few, little powers in the back pocket just in case. And one of these powers, which this abbot had in this monastery in the north of India, he would always be able to sort of, predict, sort of catastrophes or whatever was happening. In particular, at that time of the year, the other monks depended on him. And they did this year as well. They asked the abbot, is it going to be a cold winter up in the foothills of the Himalayas? Or is it going to be a mild winter? What's going to happen? The old abbot would always be very accurate. He would be able to meditate and see very cold winter, mild winter, or in between. So they asked the new abbot, and the new abbot said, well, leave it with me tonight, I'll meditate on it. But the new guy wasn't really as experienced as the old one. So instead of meditating on it, he got out his cell phone and rang the meteorological office. Asked to get through to the head guy. It's actually a professor. And he didn't tell he was the abbot of a monastery, a famous monastery. All he did, he said, if you don't mind me asking, what's the long-term weather forecast in this area of North India? And the professor said, well, probably be, average cold. Thank you. And so the following morning, the abbot, after the chanting, told all the monks, I perceive, I predict, it's going to be just an average cold winter up here. So you better collect some wood to heat the monastery. So all the monks, every other duty was stopped and they went to collect some wood. And after 1 week of hard work collecting wood, they asked, "Is this enough?" And the abbot said, "Leave it with me. I'll meditate tonight." He wasn't lying, he did meditate, but he also rang up afterwards. He rang up the meteorological office, he said, "How's it looking?" And the professor said, "Actually, it's got worse. I think it's going to be quite a cold winter." "Thank you." So the following morning, he told all the monks, "Get back to work. Go and collect some more wood. It's going to be a cold winter up here." So they all worked really hard getting some wood. And then, after another week, same thing. "Is this enough? Leave it with me." In the night, when all the monks were asleep, he got the cell phone out and rang the professor anonymously. "How's it looking?" "Oh, it's got much worse. It's going to be a really cold winter." "Thank you." So, next morning, those monks, "It's going to be really cold," said the head monk. "Collect more wood." So they really worked hard, collecting wood all over the place, stacking it here, stacking it there. And they were really exhausted. At the end of the 3 weeks, "Is it enough?" "Leave it with me." And that night he rang the professor again. "How's it going?" And the professor said, "I've never seen anything like this. The signs are it's going to be one of the coldest, bitterest winters ever seen in this part of North India." And the abbot, anonymous, the professor, didn't know who he was, said, "Are you sure?" He said, "Yes." "How do you know?" "Well," said the professor of meteorology, "all those monks in that holy monastery are collecting wood like nobody's business." That's how I know. So that was sent to me some years ago as an explanation on how Wall Street works. on the prices of stocks. Is it going to be a bear market or a bull market? Just find out what the monks are investing in. We don't invest in anything except good karma. So anyway, that is why people want to predict the future, but they just mess up, they just follow stupid signs. So instead, we have this beautiful embracing the adventure of 2018. What's it going to be like? Do you want predictions for the future? I will give you a prediction of the future. 2018 is going to be uncertain. Of course it is. But then when those uncertainties come up in life, number one, we expect them. We expect things not to go according to plan.